Brother Robert and everybody for helping out. Pastor Kevin, thank you so much. Guys, you're awesome. My wife and Monica, this young man and his wife. Wow. If you are so led by God, there is 2 donation buckets here. And he said, why 2? Because he's going to fill them both up for us. So all the proceeds are going to Liz and Brittany for their book. So I want to introduce a great man. He happens to be real close to this project, and he's gonna just fire us off. So, Brother David.
Well, I'm gonna open us in prayer and then introduce the ladies and then go be with my boys back there while they're talking about the book. So let's open in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for reaching out to help the children of your people in this generation. And I pray that you would guide us in our part in teaching children the Bible, teaching them about you, teaching them to know who they are in Christ. And I pray for your blessing on this time and help the ladies in sharing in Jesus' name. Amen. I'd like to thank our hosts, John and Karen Parks. God bless them. Thank you. And of course, we already thanked our workers. Thank you, Robert, again, and our workers again. And I'd like to thank River of Life Church for letting us come here this morning. God bless our pastor. And I wanted to share the bios about the ladies. It's right here in the book. Elizabeth enjoys journaling and crafting. She is a Youth with a Mission alumnus, which means she got a degree in early childhood education with Youth with a Mission, and she has also accreditation in Canada, which she will not be using because she's here in Oklahoma. But anyway, so she has that background in early childhood education and is an overcomer with the everyday struggles of being dyslexic. Her love and passion for her own boys to know Jesus in a deep and personal way was the inspiration for this book. And Brittany Strauss has had a love of writing since her childhood days, of writing silly stories and corresponding with pen pals. She is a wife and mother of 4 beautiful kids. That was 4. And her journey as a mom inspired her to write this book for her own children, and she hopes it will inspire many others. She resides in Alberta, Canada, and that's why she's here with us by
satellite.
What is it? Well, she's on the video. Oh, look at that! Yeah, up there, you're up on a screen over here. So that's great. Okay, and yeah, and they've been friends since Bible college, and that's where they met. And and God has blessed them, and I am going to let them have it.
We practiced a little bit on the screen. I use my big girl voice. So first of all, we just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to our husbands and our families, our kids that they were a part of this whole process. A big thank you to Pastor John, Pastor Kevin, Pastor Caleb, and Stacey, and just the church for providing us with this breakfast. We are really humbled and just kind of in awe of, I'm going to get emotional, dang it, of what God is doing with this little book. And so we wanted to say thank you, and thank you for being here. This is amazing. We had no expectations, like we didn't have high or low expectations for this, and God has just done what He wants to with it. So we just want to say thank you to all of you for your support and just your encouragement over this last little bit of publishing our book. Can you all hear me okay? Okay. All Alright, so, yeah, I'm gonna just go forward here. Okay, so we met in Bible college. This is where our journey really started. Because if we didn't have our friendship over these courses of many years, there would be no book, or there might just be one name, you know. And so if it wasn't for our friendship, there would be no Britt and Elizabeth and a devotional. And so our journey actually began in 2004. We met at Bible college as freshmen on the same dorm hall. And I remember seeing Brittany walking and talking with another girl, and I thought, I'll never be friends with her because she's too cool. And lo and behold, we became really good friends, and we became roommates second semester. And so I want to introduce you, she's already on the screen, my very good and dear friend and co-author, if you know him, Brittany Strauss. Yay!
Good morning, everyone. I can't see you all, but thank you so much. Like Liz said, we are so humbled and so blessed by this opportunity. So thank you all for taking time this morning to hear our story. So as Liz was sharing, yeah, we met at Bible school, but as I was thinking about this, I feel like the journey kind of unknowingly started for me more around high school. And so I had a lot of friends at my school, but I didn't have any that really shared my same faith. And so that became a prayer for me, is just that God would send me a good friend that I could have a deeper friendship with. And so, yeah, as I got closer and closer to leaving for college, that just became a really deep and intensified prayer for me. And in 2004, God answered that when I went to Bible school, and I ended up meeting Liz on the same hall, and we just became really great friends over the course of the year. And now 18 years later, we've been able to maintain that friendship. It started out through handwritten letters to each other and good old snail mail, and now thanks to technology, we can do like daily video chats and texts and stuff. So it's just been an amazing journey, and it's cool to see how God had orchestrated that, I guess 18 years ago already.
Yeah, and so with that, how our friendship has worked is kind of how the book came together. We were on a Google Doc we shared and just different stuff like that. So we're going to just kind of share that part of our journey with you. So in late August, early September of 2020, my family was going through a lot of transition at that time. We had moved from Cushing to an RV park to grandparents' house to our property where we were living in an RV trailer in a really small shop, which was like our bedroom, our living room, our toy room, our office, everything you could imagine. And it was kind of rough. We had welcomed Noah in April during the pandemic. And we were just living out there on our property. I was dealing with some postpartum depression, and Soren was just going through a bit of a rough time with all the transitions in his little life of 2 to 3. And so I remember going through a pandemic, so let's add that into chaos, right? And so he was just going through a really rough time, and I was like, Lord, what do I do with Soren in this time? And he brought to mind do you want to grab him, David? Soren, no,
It's a little sideshow.
go to see Daddy, Bob. Okay. So Soren was going through a rough time, so I asked the Lord, what do I do with Soren? And the Lord was like, bring some preschool structure in. And so we began doing little Bible lessons, and this is our first one. And if you can see the top of it, it says, I am created. And so that is actually one of our devotionals. And so from these little Bible lessons that I did with Soren, became part of the devotional. And so we did that through a couple times, and I just remember also reading like a story about a little girl that was, her parents were suing the school because of she thought she was an animal and they wanted this and that. And I just really thought, I don't want my boys to be lost like that. I want them to know who Jesus is. I want them to know their identity in Christ. And so that's why I started this with soaring. And then I remember journaling again and being like, me and Soren are doing our little Bible things. I was like, maybe we'll do a kids devotional one day. And I said, Lord, that's in your hands. And then he just kind of took that thought and he started creating something. And he said, the Lord said to me, let's do this. Let's make a devotional. And so I was like, okay, I have no idea what that looks like. I don't know what to do. And then he said, you need to ask Brittany. And I was like, Lord, Brittany's going to say no. Because she's so busy with her 4 kids, dealing with whatever. It's like, she's going to say no. He's like, ask Brittany. And so I was like, okay. So she had introduced me to Marco Polo, the video thingy. And so I remember we're standing outside waiting for like our concrete pad to be built because we're building a house. And I was like, I have a question for you. I was like, I feel like the Lord is asking me to write a devotional. And he wants me to ask you. And I said, don't say no right away. I said, pray about it. And then you can let me know. So I think I gave her like a week. And then I'm going to let Britt tell her side of that story too. It's her side, so go ahead.
So for the record, I did say no right away. I don't know that I verbalized it, but when I got the message, it was just a resounding no in my head. I've always enjoyed like writing and little writing projects, and even in school it was one of my favorite subjects. But the idea of writing a book just seemed, even if it was only for our kids, it just seemed big and daunting, and I could have made a million excuses. I was just not that interested, but God obviously had some different plans, and slowly as I did start to pray about it and think about it, I began to be drawn more and more towards this idea that Liz had presented. And then on top of that, 2 of my kids were kind of in later elementary, and we were just noticing that there was differing views and beliefs that were starting to just creep in, and we were needing to address with them. And so my husband and I were trying to navigate how we would have those conversations with our kids. And so I started looking into other resources just to help guide the conversations with them. And I realized that there are tons of great devotionals and resources out there, but there was nothing that really fit what I was looking for. And it was definitely at that point that God started to confirm to me that I needed to give this whole devotional thing a shot. So I was thinking about it. So this is actually the exact spot that I was sitting at my dining room table when I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to give this a shot. So I had the computer out, and Liz at that time had already done one. And so I pulled it up, kind of looked through it. And she had been so encouraging. I was like, don't overthink it. Just follow the Lord's leading. And so I just kind of sat here not knowing what I was going to write. And before I really knew it, the words had just come out. And I had the first devotional. And so it was kind of from that point on, it was the Lord just kept giving Liz and I ideas. And when I would sit down to write, he just really blessed us. And it was almost easy in some ways that the words would just come and we could just pour out these devotionals fairly quickly. So it was quite the process the Lord took us on.
Yeah, so we spent, I don't know how long we spent. We didn't give ourselves a goal or a timeline or anything. We just said, let's just write whatever the Lord puts in our heart. And so we did that. And then we found as we were writing, we had some different friends that were like, how do I talk to my kid about this? And we were like, we have a devotional you can check out if you want to read it. And then through that process, we started thinking about maybe we're supposed to publish this. And so we just started praying into it. We met every 2 weeks on the phone, and we prayed into it and started asking the Lord, do we want to do it this way? Do you want to do it this way, or do you want it to do self-publishing or through a publisher? And we felt like the Lord led us into self-publishing. And so we just we kept praying into it and taking the time, just to find God's heart in it. And in the writing process, so we came together and we wrote our devotionals. We have 33 devotionals in there. And what is really neat is that no devotional is just Brittany and no devotional is just me. We went together and edited through it, so there's Brittany and Liz in each devotional. So it's not just one person writing, it's both of our writing in there. And so also as we were doing that, we were like, well, if we're going to publish, we're going to make sure it's biblically sound, that we're not just throwing crazy stuff out there for kids to learn. And so we prayed about it, and we asked different pastors. We asked David and Pastor Kevin and my good friend Ruth Golden, who is an early childhood educator. She's been working with kids for over 30 years. And Brittany asked Pastor Nick and Pastor Lee and Pastor Phil. And what's neat is we had charismatic pastors and we had Baptist pastors, and they all were like, this is awesome, and they agreed, and they gave us really great feedback. And so we just continued that editing process. It's a long process. It took forever. This book is 2 years in the making, or it was 2 years in the making. And so we just kept going through that, and then as part of our editing, we had our kids. And so Britt's going to share a little bit about that, about our kids being part of the editing process.
Yeah, like Liz said, the whole process of just putting it out there and sharing it with pastors, it was really exciting. It was really kind of daunting for us too, just to put our thoughts and words out there. But God was so faithful, and it was really cool to see how He would just continually confirm the devotional truth in kind of in everyday life for us as we were editing and just sharing it out there. And whether it was from sermons to just different conversations we were having, we just kept seeing what we were writing about just being confirmed in our lives. And so there's even one point where I was taking a course at our church, and I had the opportunity to dig deeper into my faith and then to hear stories of other women who were also doing the same. And one thing that really struck out to me was that the issues and challenges that we all face in our life, those always change. But if we have God and our foundations built on it, it really changes the way that we handle these things. And to watch women just kind of struggling with that reality and just learning that at a later age, it really impacted me. And so as a parent, I know, and for Liz too, we just really wanted our kids first and foremost to just have their identity in God and to have the confidence at an early age to know that regardless of the struggle, they can tackle it if they know that they have the confidence in God first and foremost. So there's the good and the bad. And so God just really, during that editing process, just really confirmed for us that their foundation has got to be on Him first. And so we just became so passionate about trying to get that message through this devotional to our kids. And we also, for anyone who's seen the book, we need to know that there's kind of supporting scripture in there. And so for us, that was really important, that we didn't just take one or two verses, but that we showed how interwoven these truths are throughout the whole Bible. And we also wanted to provide like a space for kids just to start digging deeper. If they didn't know where to start in the Bible, just that they could start looking up these verses or praying out these verses and just kind of have a starting point. For exploring these truths a little bit deeper. And so I think we figured out that there's around 200 verses either quoted or referenced in our 33 devotionals. So that was kind of exciting. And then to have pastors read through it was just good for us to make sure that we were on track and that our foundation was solid in that area. And like Liz said, so we did have the chance to start sharing our drafts with our kids as we were working through the editing process. And so this was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole process, was just reading them with my kids. And I have the original copies still, and they're just covered in like scribble notes and arrows. And as I would read them to my kids, and they would ask questions or wouldn't understand a word, but we would just make the edits that Liz and I could discuss them later. And it was just such a rewarding process to have my kids be, Stacey, I know she was doing it with her voice, so just for us to have the experience of being able to share it with them and to get some, I guess, real life feedback was, yeah, it was just such a neat process for us. And my son especially, so he would have been about 7 or 8 when we started reading these. And I don't know if it was just him or if it's just kind of the perfect age, but he just really responded to the devotions and would be so keen on asking questions and just really, really attentive to the things that we were exploring in each devotion. And the one, we were one about hearing God's voice, and he just became so passionate about every night journaling his prayers and trying his hardest to listen and calling himself to listen to God. And as a parent, it was just so touching. And so it was just really neat how the Lord just kind of allowed Liz and I also just to see that our efforts weren't in vain, I guess, in a way, and just kind of see in our own kids that, that it was worth it. And so it was just a really cool experience for us. And like Liz said, we would meet together every 2 weeks and start editing. And we were really intentional about making sure that the ones I wrote weren't mine and the ones she wrote weren't hers. And the Lord was so in that also, because it would have been so easy to just get frustrated with each other when we wanted to make changes. But we were really great at combining our writing styles, and because our focus was really on just making sure the message came out clearly to kids, we were able to just kind of put aside just kind of our own thoughts and feelings. And there probably should have been more disagreements in it, but I think Liz would probably agree that the editing process was actually quite fun for us. So it was great to see that the Lord just kind of covered us during that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're stay-at-home moms, so even though we're writing a book and we're doing editing, life still happens. So Noah was still really little, so it was like editing around nap time, editing around lunchtime, maybe some TV time, and there was late nights, and I was raising baby chicks, so they were peeping in the background at like midnight, and we were doing life during, this process, which is probably why it took us 2 years, but that's okay. And we just had a lot of fun with it, and we were always surprised. We were like, oh, we're done with 5, because we would take 5 at a time and go through them and be like, oh, we did it, we're done, okay, see you tomorrow kind of thing, or whatever. Through the whole thing, like, life just happened. Britt was picking up kids, dropping kids off, running here and there. And so we were just still stay-at-home moms. We still are stay-at-home moms, and this is just some extra. So through the process, we were talking about, like, how do we want to convey the message that's in the book? And so we decided for illustrations. It had been suggested to us, and we really liked it, to take real-life photos. And so you'll see in the book photos of kids. You might recognize 3 of the kids in the book. We had a lot of fun with that. And so the photos, we wanted them to convey what we wanted, what the devotional was saying. And so I'm going to let Britt kind of share that part a bit more, because she was there for more of the photo shoots, and she can kind of explain that process.
Yeah, so for the photo shoots, Liz and I had spent a lot of time praying about that, even just how we were gonna make logistically it happen. And we definitely wanted our kids, when we realized that we wanted to do real life, we thought, what better way? Our kids have been a part of this journey from the beginning, so if we could just kind of incorporate them in also. So we began praying over how we were gonna do this. I don't have any amazing photography skills myself, and so we ended up coming with the name of a friend. Her name is Becky, that I went to Bible school with. We ended up becoming quite good friends with her on the call, and have kept in touch since then. And she does professional photography, and get a chance to check her out too, because she does phenomenal work. And so we decided to give it a go, and I remember just sitting there writing the email to her and just sharing the vision of what Liz and I had been working on, and not really knowing what her response would be, but just kind of trusting that we were gonna follow and see what would happen. And when Becky responded, it was just a resounding yes. She completely caught the vision of what Liz and I were hoping to capture, and she was so energetic and excited and had ideas. So that was really exciting to be at that process. And from there, like Liz said, we started exploring how we wanted those real life photos to look. And for any parents that are there, I know cartoons and bright colors are kind of what you typically think of when you think of children's books, but Liz and I felt going the exact opposite way, and we really wanted the pictures to be, we wanted kids to see themselves in the pictures, and that as they read the devotions, they could then look at the pictures and just hopefully understand the intimacy of what a relationship with God can really look like, and that is not just fun, but yeah, that it makes it a more personal connection. And so, yeah, that was another fun part. It's just kind of coming up with ideas and, yeah, the little details of what props we would need. And so, yeah, I eventually led to 2 separate photo shoots. So Liz got to be the photographer in Oklahoma, and then we had a second photo shoot here in Edmonton. And I think even out of that experience, we both came out with some fun stories. Like, you can ask Liz about it, but she ended up having to buy a wig and then dyeing it multiple times so that we could properly represent Jesus in the book. And we took that very seriously, but it was really fun to just get the videos of the different stages of the process. And then up here in Alberta, we were able to borrow like a large cross from our church for some of the photos. And at one point we were in this big park, and there was a little hill, and we wanted to take the cross to the top of it to get a great shot. And so my husband had to like carry this cross up the hill, and there's cars and people everywhere, and so we just thought, like, what are people thinking? But it just kind of made a fun story and just made it really exciting. And even just the logistics of getting kids to cooperate, it was, again, just God's blessing over the whole thing. Becky and Liz were both able to capture phenomenal images, as you guys will see if you can check out the book. And yeah, it was just a fun process and has led to where we are.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We did so we did want to represent Jesus really well. That's gonna probably embarrass him, but my husband did the job well. We had to buy a wig, like Brett said, but it was like bright red, and so we were like, I don't think Jesus' hair was red, so I had to buy some hair dye that was like root hair dye, and like it was quite the process. But thank you, David, for representing Jesus well. We were obviously in Oklahoma. There's like thunderstorms, and so we were like, I was trying to capture some more of the pictures of the kids. We have Aliana, she's in there, and Soren and Noah were my models, and we were just, there was like a storm coming, and I was trying to get the right picture, and it was just like, okay, there's lightning, we gotta go inside now. So it was quite the process. It was really fun. And then there are some super unflattering photos of us on Facebook. When we finally got the pictures, everything we did was together. And so we got the pictures, but we waited until we were like doing video time. And then we would like click it, and we're like, what? Like, we were just overwhelmed at how amazing Becky had captured our heart for it. And just like we had some emotional moments there. And then basically, like, just, more editing, formatting. We published UKDP, which is part of Amazon, which is why you have to get the book through Amazon. But it's a free platform, yes, to get your book published in that way. And so Britt did the amazing job of formatting and figuring out, like, where it goes. She has super great office skills, except she didn't admit it. And so, yeah, it was great that she was able to figure that out. We figured out how we wanted the layout and all of that. And then basically, press the publish button, and on November 21st, we published our books together. And like Britt said, it was an easy process, and we were kind of like, why is this so easy? Like, it maybe should be a little bit more difficult, but because God was in it from the beginning, like we can just see His hand on it, see Him working in us, that it was easy. And because we have a friendship, and because we started, like when we decided to publish, we're like, our friendship, we're committed to our friendship. Like, you know, this is great to write a book, but God's given us this like solid friendship, and that's what comes kind of first. And so being able to work with Britt, we had never done a project like this together, so we learned a lot about each other, I think, and just saw each other's giftings, and just like, it was pretty sweet. And so that is like to know Him. Our heart for this book is not for us to be authors, but for kids to know Jesus, and for them to know who they are in Christ, to have that identity in Jesus, to have that foundation. And so, yeah, this is us. We are just two stay-at-home moms that God decided to use to write a book. So watch out, He could use you, whether you know it or not. And yeah, we're just really in awe of God and what He's done. And yeah, we're super excited. Like I said at the beginning, we didn't have any expectations. We're just like, hey, for our kids, great. But apparently God has bigger things. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for listening.
We have some books for sale, and you can order books, and we have books for giveaway. And we do have one rule about the giveaway is that somebody reads it. That's the only rule. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a child. And we had some people that was saying, well, this is special for the elderly, isn't it? And it's like, well, not necessarily, but I mean, the point is that, that we have some for sale too. They're $17, and we talked about it. What goes in the donation, we will use to buy books and put them in the giveaway box is what we'll do. And so, but feel free if you want to take a giveaway book or to buy a book, $17 a book, you're welcome to. And if we run out, of course, we'll have to order some. It takes a little time because they don't print it until we order it. And so, so that's the way that works. We don't have any promotion behind the book. And so Amazon prints it, but they don't promote it. And so this is promotion, it's just word of mouth. And
So you can't order it online?
You can order it. You can order it from Amazon.com if you want to. It's $21 on Amazon, $17 through us.
Okay.
So Liz, this is, one is for you and one is for Brittany. This is from Dawn and the Ladies Ministry. And so something awesome for you guys, and she has one as well too, and we will ship hers too.
Yeah.
Or I might just put it in the car and drive to Canada. My road trip. Okay, if you are.
Might be a little smelly.
If you would like to ask questions, we want to open the floor to ask any questions, and then once that's done, if you want to come and purchase a book or get her to autograph it, that's what we would like to do. Does anybody have any questions? Not everybody at once, because you sound kind of crazy and we can't understand. So.
Well, I just have to say, I think it's amazing. I've always wanted to write a book. Not that the Lord's ever put it on my heart or anything particularly, but I just love people that write books. I just think it's amazing. It has to be a process. It has to be quite a joy. But it sounds like the Lord did bless you all in making it easier than some. You know, so that's very, very exciting.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
I just wanted to say, I read the book, and we're all supposed to be children at heart. So that book, it's not just for kids. It touched me in every page I turned, every devotional I read, and I even went through. While Frank was in the hospital, I caught something. I caught a bug at the hospital, and I had to get on steroids. And my lungs were hurting, and I was reading that book, and I felt my lungs open up. And I was healed while I read that book. And it's not just for kids. Don't let the title of the devotion fool you. And it's not just for elderly. I'm not elderly yet.
Any other questions? How about some hard questions? We need some hard questions. Listen, you can't make it hard enough, so come on.
Well, they made it sound so simple.
I
The
know.
Lord led them the whole way.
I wanted to know what brought it on, and she explained it.
Yeah, they did a good
We
job.
covered our bases. We did that.
When's your next book?
That's a good question, and we have an answer for that. We're just gonna ride the wave with this one. We're open to if God's like, hey, write another one. But right now, this is our focus, and so there could be a next one. There might not be a next one, but we're just gonna follow the Lord and see where it goes.
So, Brittany and Elizabeth and David, what can we do to help promote and to help, I'll use the word market, this book?
Well, I have been really inspired about it, and I hope that I think we're here for children, and that's what our passion is about it. All of us, both of our families together, is that we love children, and we want, and we see the need, we feel the need, and I think we all do. And so, like I said, we've got giveaway books, and so if you know someone, any parent, I would love for this resource to be in every Christian home to pass Christian values on to the next generation. And so it can be just, sharing about it with people who have children, and feel free to talk to us at another time and say, hey, do you have another giveaway book? Because we will, and we can do that. And so there's a little bit. I've got a lot to say, but I'm just going to not overload you.
Does it help to market your book to get it through Amazon? Does that push it up in
It
some kind of
does.
sale?
Actually, what you could do, and this is something we talked about, is if you get the book, go to Amazon and write a review. And as we get more reviews, it kind of puts it up there more.
Whether we buy it there or not?
Whether you
we
buy
can
it, if you get it from us, or it's coming from Amazon anyway. So just, if you write a review for us on the book, that will help get it up there as well. So.
Can I just jump in there for a second? I'm not sure if you don't buy on Amazon, I'm not actually sure if you can write a review on there. I think you have to be a verified purchaser, but if it doesn't allow you to, even just sharing, we have a Facebook page, and so even just sharing it on there so that other people can kind of read about your experience or your child's experience. Liz and I have been so overwhelmed with just the reach. We kind of started with a small pool of people, and we're just seeing the reach of just social media beyond what we had ever thought. And so, just even if you would take the time to just share your experience with us on one of our platforms, it's just so humbling, and I know it's already touched other people just hearing their stories and just kind of opened up, what people think of, I guess, in regards to a children's book, and like David said, just exploring, getting it to homes, whether it's for kids or of any age. So.
Ted, you got a question?
Was David an angel while you were doing this?
No, he was Jesus. He was Jesus.
I know he was Jesus, but how was Jesus'
He
attitude?
was real helpful. He was real supportive. David was one of the, like at midnight or like 11 o'clock at night, we'd be like, does this sentence sound good? And he's like sitting at the computer, like yeah, so he was real helpful. And if it was a late night and I knew I was going to be doing editing with Britt, he put the boys to bed. So he's been real supportive and just real encouraging. And he was, it was not in his personality, I guess, to want to portray Jesus. He did very well, and he wanted to do it right. And we love that about David, is that he wanted to make sure that Jesus was portrayed right for kids. And so, we're just, he was real supportive, and we're just thankful for his contribution.
Yeah, and Dayton was real helpful too, Brittany's
was,
husband,
yes.
and so we got to team up, our families got to team up in this.
Yeah.
So it's great Christmas gifts if you want to send to somebody. The cool thing is, you know, pick one up now and she'll sign it and send to somebody. And we'll even get a picture with your signed book. We got them here. We might as well, come on, might as well have some fun. Yeah. Any more questions? No?
This is not a question, but I had a conversation with the Smiths a while back, and so I guess he is a Smith, so I have to listen. And so I think pastors can help promote the book by giving copies away. So I talked to David and Liz, and so River of Life's going to either purchase a number of these books, or we'll receive donations for the books, and we're going to give them to every new family that comes in for our nursery ministry. And so that's one of the ways that I think pastors can help promote the book, is give it out. In fact, I've already given a copy away to a family that's not attending River of Life yet. They said they're looking for a place. I met them in the store a few weeks ago, and so I gave them a copy of the book. But, you know, the book is... Okay. He said I can share one more thing. The book is theological, it's biblical, it's ecumenical, which, like Sister Liz said, I mean, it crosses, it's cross-denominational, and it's applicable, so it's very, very well written, and it's an easy read, and it's easy for kids to understand. And we love kids, because Jesus loves kids. And I think it's an incredible investment into the kingdom. So well done, Liz and Brittany.
Please feel free to come up and visit.
I'm working on it. On the doorstep.
Well, you were good.